Vargas is live near the front lines of the fire. Lauren, how much has this grown?
Yeah, Allison, new numbers this morning. We've learned that the fire has grown to nearly 11,000 acres and more resources have been brought in. They say about 1,000 personnel on the ground here battling the slide fire. I'm joined by firefighter Manny Cordova, who's a public information officer here for the slide fire. Manny, what is the game plan and the strategy today?
So for today, we will continue to work on the power line and to bring that line down, as we discussed yesterday, creating that catcher's mitt to be able to get around the fire and continue with the progress.
So you said the fire actually started around here, and this part has actually been completed, most of the work you guys have done.
Correct. So overnight crews were able to secure the that slide rock area north of it, and today what their plan is just to maintain that area and hold that line for us.
What's your biggest challenge here?
Our biggest challenge is definitely the terrain, and getting firefighters into those areas is not safe. So we are having to use aerial drops and helicopters and fixed wing aircraft to address those areas as well.
What's it going to take to get those people evacuated back into their homes? How do we know when it's safe?
That decision is actually made by the county's management office there. And so what we do is we provide information for them and give them, recommendations, and then the decision does go back to the sheriff's office whether they're going to lift that evacuation ban or not based on the information we provide.
Okay. And at this point, Manny, still 5% containment?
Yes, still 5% containment, and so we're hoping throughout the day with the progress that the crews are able to make that we can, update that information as it becomes available.
All right, thank you so much for all your work. Again, about $2 million spent so far to fight this blaze. Evacuations remain in effect. There is a ban burn that went into effect yesterday that includes all public and private lands until further notice. Manny and I are going to go out in about 30 minutes and check out some of the spots that have burned out. We're going to have that story coming up this evening on ABC 15.
All right, Lauren, thank you so much. Well, despite these fires, Sedona and Flagstaff, they are open for business. That's the word from the state's tourism industry. Memorial Day weekend is traditionally one of the biggest for the state tourism industry. And while things can change at any moment, most attractions are open except for Slide Rock State Park. Another fear for those living near the fire is flooding. With land stripped by flames, monsoon rains could trigger floods. Charles Lultz owns a business in the Coconino Forest. He watched what happened after the Schultz fire and fears that could happen again.
When an area burns, it can no longer absorb the moisture, and once the water starts flowing, you've lost your infrastructure of the soil. So then you get landslides. It can be a real mess.
Ground that's scorched can no longer absorb water. That means water runs and causes flooding. We have several crews on the fire line. You can look for much more all weekend long here on ABC 15 News, or you can look on abc15.com.